how I believe your job, your occupation, will have a massive impact in you being able to get a mortgage, even get a mortgage in the future. So right now, everything's to do with your income. Okay, I do this, I make this much money. But I think in the future, it's going to be all about longevity of your job. Okay, those are long gone are the days that you could get a job for life. So I think the way lenders are going to start approaching things, and if they haven't, they should, is around how long you're going to be in that job for. I'll give you an example. Some sectors that are going to be massively hit, and this, it's going to be dramatic for a lot of people. Okay, anyone related or working within the auto industry, now that's from mechanics right the way through to the end user, the driver, anything to do with driving, anything to do with logistics, anything to do with HGV drivers. It could be a taxi driver. You could drive deliveries for a living. All of those jobs are going to be under threat in the next 5 years. So bearing in mind, now it could take longer, but bearing in mind that a mortgage, a typical mortgage, is taking 20, 25 years time. It's certainly within that mortgage frame, okay, that you could be out of a job. And now, there are other sectors. There are my own sector, so the financial services sector, the intermediary sector, which is me, a broker, essentially a middleman between the client and the lenders out there. And we offer the advice process and all of that. That could massively get affected by AI. And you're going to see a lot more AI-driven businesses out there, and eventually unless you specialize, and there's a lot of specialism, and excuse the pun, but we're called niche advice, so we are looking to we do specialize, but unless you specialize, it's going to be horrific. Do you remember the days there used to be lots and lots of travel insurances before the insurance industry came in and put it all online? Car insurance. You used to have lots of car insurance brokerages, people phoning up car insurance. You used to get teletext. You used to go and get your stuff on, your holidays off the teletext. So all of those industries have come and gone. I used to work, when I was a student, I used to work for Blockbuster Video. So I can tell you categorically how an industry has changed. On a Friday night, people used to go out, go for their dates, get 2 videos and some popcorns and a drink. And that was the way it was done. Now, Netflix, my 7-year-old, I don't think knows the concept of not being able to play something instantly if you want to watch it, or waiting a week to watch the Thundercats cartoon, if you can remember that. So there's a lot of changes happening. But my point is, I think the way things are going to go is going to be based on your occupation and how your occupation is perceived to be longevity. And you're gonna get that in all walks of life. Everybody's gonna go through things, but how financial services at the moment is dealing with things is nonsense. Okay, and I just want you guys to give me some feedback and see what you think about all of this, because fundamentally, the financial service game needs to change, because our lives are going to massively change. I've just been watching, Elon Musk unveil his automation taxis. He thinks they're going to be automated taxis certainly in 2026, sort of coming out, and full automation on the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y by I think a couple of months' time, really, in California and Texas. Of course, there's a lot of regulation, and I think regulation is going to be an interesting piece, and how governments are going to look into regulation. So automated, sort of autonomous driving, okay, fine. What's going to happen when the advice barrier goes away and then AI is giving you advice? When it comes to financial services, for example, there's a lot of insurances, there's a lot of advice, there's a lot of training we have to do. And what's going to happen with all of that? Who's taking the liability? What happens if that pharmacist or if that doctor writes the wrong prescription, or is given the wrong advice? Okay, if that person's been replaced by an AI, who takes that liability? Who takes that responsibility? If you're a pharmacist right now, you've got to have professional indemnity insurance. Okay, if you are a driving instructor, you've got certain insurances that you need to abide by, and you are teaching those things. What's going to happen to those roles? Okay, we know there are certain roles that are going to be obsolete. You know, if you are a car mechanic right now, you are seeing literally that sector, it's just going to get smaller and smaller. Granted, you know, there's still a huge amount of problems with electric cars, but that sector is only going to get smaller. It's not going to get bigger. It's essentially like being on videotapes when really DVD started coming out. Okay. And that's the way I feel with all of this stuff. So, you know, when you are looking to get that mortgage for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, remember you're getting that mortgage for 20 years, 25 years and 30 years. And a lot can change in 4 or 5 years, let alone 25 years. And when they're working out that affordability, are you going to have that couple of £1,000 a month coming into your account in 20 years' time? Okay, so it's vital you look at, when you're looking at your mortgage, you look at the long term, not just I'm doing okay now. It's about long term. It's about putting a plan to paying that mortgage off. Okay, there's so many people that are just going, oh, okay, well, my mum and dad bought a property for 40 grand and it's now worth £700,000. They've done really well out of it. Yeah, but I think we're going through a bigger change, and the next 25 years is going to be a greater level of change than what we've had in the last 25 years. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know. This is a little bit different. You know, I'm not talking about like the best 2-year fixed and the best 5-year fixed and which lenders have got what. This is more of a broader topic about what people should be aware of. And this is down the line. It's going to happen to all of us. Like I said, it's going to happen to my industry. It's going to happen to pretty much everybody that is watching this. Their industry is going to change. And in fact, if you're in an industry that you think it's going to change, let me know what you think about it. And if you're in an industry that you think you're solid, it's only going to get improved. It's only going to be getting better. Let me know what that industry is as well, because I think eventually lenders will cotton on to this and they will go based on a risk-based approach rather than an income-based approach. It's probably going to be an income and risk-based approach. But at the moment, pretty much you could do whatever you want as long as you've got, a track record. If you're self-employed, of 2 years. If you're employed, I don't know, 6 months, whatever, 12 months. Obviously, you can be employed for 1 month if you've got a track record. But I'm talking about track record. And they don't really care about the industry you're in. Okay, not too much. Okay, obviously, if you're in a certain sector that's been hit, they could look at it. But generally, we don't get a query. Even if you work for a clothes shop, for example, and you've worked there for 6 months, the lenders don't essentially come back and go, hang on a minute, you're working for Debenhams, and we know Debenhams is, we've seen it's a retail sector. Oh, Debenhams is a bad example because they've gone bust. But someone else, they're in the retail sector, and we don't feel comfortable with doing that. The only time I've had that, funny enough, is from a specialist lender where I had a client who was an Uber driver and they said they didn't want to take on taxi drivers. So I thought, okay, well, and that was a specialist small lender. And I needed to go with 1 year's accounts or something. That's why we didn't go to the high street. Anyway, let me know what you guys think and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.